Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Backstage Bimbo TV. My name is Allison Rouse, your most notorious groupie and author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, me. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Thank you to everybody who's subscribing, all my new subscribers. You guys rock. Welcome. Thank you for stumbling up onto me. I've gotten so many really awesome new emails. I've got to meet some really amazing friends through my book, and through this vlog has brought me even more very cool people. So nice to meet you guys, and thank you for everybody, longtime supporters, new supporters, and for the 66% that are just haunting me, hit that subscribe button. You like me enough to keep watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Let's spread me like I spread my legs in the 80s. But we're not talking about the 80s today. On today's Rocky Talkie, we're going to talk about my move to Las Vegas. And for this little Las Vegas story, we're going to have champagne. Because that's all I drank in Las Vegas. And the only place I ever went was the Hard Rock. Now this glass. I have a collection of these lovely, about 12 Hard Rock Hotel champagne glasses. This would probably be a collector's item considering it's not there anymore. But because we drank for free at the Hard Rock, me and my friends. And we always ordered Dom Perignon. They would comp us the Dom. The security guards and everybody, they got to know us really well. And this will come along in the story. But they would always ask us if we wanted one for the road. And this is if we were going home alone and not sleeping upstairs with some rock star, Steve Jones. So we'd always say yes. Well, as a matter of fact, and I do not condone drinking and driving. I was young and stupid. Do not drink and drive. So they would give us a glass of champagne. We'd sneak out to the valet. They'd go get our car. And they would try to catch us. If they thought we were too drunk to drive, they would try and catch us and comp us a room. But we were squirrely chicks, so we got away. And we would drink a glass of champagne on the drive home. And we'd always stop at Del Taco, fill our stomachs up, drive home. So that's why I have 12 of these champagne glasses from the Hard Rock Hotel. So everybody, get your bubbly on, kick your feet up. Let's have a little Rocky Talkie, shall we? Viva Las Vegas! Or as we used to say, Viva Lost Wages. Because most people lose their wages there. It's punters. So, in Seattle, I've talked about how everything was really falling apart between Kristen and I. And that's, just something that happened in our timeline. Nothing bad, nothing against her. But there was also a situation at the downtown Deja Vu. In Seattle, you could not dance off stage naked. You could not, it was a totally nude club, but you could only be nude on the stage. During lap dances, you had to keep your top and your G-string on. The G-string had to be so many inches in the front and so many in the back. Like, it was specific. You could only charge $5 for a table dance and $10 for a couch dance. Any stripper will tell you, oh, hell no. Hell no. Because when you're paying the club to work there, nobody, not even the laws of Seattle, can dictate how much you make. Otherwise, they're going to have to dictate how much a hairdresser makes, how much the buskers or the stalls at the Pike Street Market are going to make, because they're all independent. Just like I was. I was an independent contractor. Every stripper is. So, none of us strippers charge $10 because we had to pay out $70. You're spending half your night just plus $5 out of every dance, so you're basically making $5 a lap dance, and you get to keep your $5 for the table dance, but we're worth more than that. And we're not going to be running in circles to take home $200 or $300 a night. We're fucking strippers. So everybody overcharged. And this is where I learned how to, I didn't give lap dances. I didn't do anything like that before I moved to Seattle. So one night a bunch of cops came in undercover. arrested us because we charged $50. We flashed our boobs and would flash our privates while grinding, even though we were not supposed to be doing that. And that was it. So like 6 of us went to jail. Deja Vu representative. It got tossed out of court basically, and with the stipulation that none of us had any more trouble for 3 months, it would get expunged from our record. No prostitution, nothing like that. It wasn't anything besides flashing my boobs to an undercover in a nude club. Because Seattle laws were so strict. I don't know how they are now. Deja Vu was fighting them because, again, strippers are independent contractors and no laws can dictate independent contractor prices. They have to kind of go with the going rate, and the going rates constantly change, and then they get upgrades and so on, so on. It's the same for a stripper. So ladies, especially those who work at Deja Vu's, you're an independent contractor. Nobody can tell you what to charge. Charge your worth. So I end up going with everything, all the tensions back home in Seattle and everything going on with the strip club. I went up to Alaska for 3 months. Danced there. Okay, it's expunged from my record. Didn't get in any more trouble. Came back down, was working the Deja Vu when the manager was like, hey, there's a new club that opened up and they want a bunch of girls to go down. Do you want to go down? Hells yeah. I want to go down. Okay, well, just this is what you got to do. This is who you got to talk to. So I called Jackson Dell. I love you, Jack. It's a joke between me and Jack, So I would call him on the phone, be like, you're going to hire me, right? Right? He's like, I have to see you audition. Because this is Vegas, the mothership where the top of the line strippers go. Okay, this isn't like Fargo or Reno or wherever, anywhere, Salt Lake even. We had a great club here with the American Bush, but that was rare. So I keep calling him. He's like, you're going to have to come down and audition. I was like, no, I work for Deja Vu and I'm good. You're going to hire me. Because with the clubs in Vegas, it's not how pretty. There's a million pretty girls that can walk in that door, but especially with little darlings in Deja Vu, hustler clubs, how can you perform on that stage? They don't hire titty shakers. At least not in my time. So kept telling him, oh, no, trust me, you're going to hire me. Tell Kristen and them, yep, I'm going to go work in Las Vegas. I'll be back in 2 months. Again, we had a, like I said in the previous vlog, we had an agreement that if any of us traveled and we wanted to keep our place in the house, that we would pay full rent. And I'd already been doing that in Alaska while Kristen, who was there 2 days a week, was not. So went down to Las Vegas, still was going to pay full rent and bills that I wasn't using the water, the electricity. I shouldn't have to pay any of that. So went down there, flew, literally like worked for a few weeks, finally was like, I'm going down to Seattle or to Las Vegas. Got on a plane to Las Vegas. That was it. That was my plan. I bought a one-way ticket. I think I actually bought a round trip. I just never went back to Seattle. Not until I went up there for the Sex Pistols tour for Bummershoot in 1996. And this is 1995. This is around July. So, went down there, just packed my huge suitcase, packed my stripper bag up. I think Kristen took me to the airport and boom, I was gone. Kristen moved out while I was gone too, because her and Dion was an asshole. I couldn't tell her that back then, and she'll even tell Dion was a dick and a half. I hate that motherfucker. Yeah. Ran into him while I was up there with the pistols too. So, didn't even know what I was doing, like, just literally, like, how many people do this? Just buy a plane ticket, go to Las Vegas. Get off the plane, have this giant suitcase. There's this line where you can go stand and wait for the cabs at McCarran. There used to be, there probably is still now, but got off the plane, got in the cab. The cabbie turns around, looks at me, he's like, where to? Good question. because I didn't know. I talked to my friend Andrea, who I had met in Seattle as well, who became a huge part of the scene. You guys know her from Mikey Inez, from the Vinnie Paul vlog. She's the one that was with Mikey Inez. She had been down there while I was in Alaska. And she's like, oh yeah, this is where so-and-so stayed, or so-and-so, so-and-so. And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm down here to work at Little Darlings. What's a hotel close to it that's not expensive? And not a big casino, because I didn't want to be in the big casino where everybody was. Took me to the La Concha. The La Concha was by the Peppermill. It is now the Neon Museum on the Strip. It used to be this hotel, and I was in the main part. There was a big tower part in the behind the main part, which was only 2 stories. And he was like, okay, took me to the La Concha. I checked in, said how much for 2 weeks. Paid, you know, because it was like cheaper for the weekdays and more expensive for the weekends, as Vegas is. Put on a pink dress I had borrowed from Andrea and forgot to give her before I came give her back, and some little slide-on shoes. Went and walked the Strip, up and down the Strip. No idea, just by myself. No idea that walking the Strip by myself, people were like, hey, they're all catcalling me. I'm like, not even really paying attention to it, but, oh, hookers walk the Strip by themselves. I was just thinking I was, you know, just going to be looking like your regular tourist. Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. So I just wandered the Strip, had a drink at the MGM Grand, walked back down to La Concha, went to bed. The next morning, I called Little Darlings. Can I speak to Jackson Dell for like the 10th time? Love you, Jack. Like I said, I am still friends with Jack. I love him to death. Walked in to audition. He saw he's a leg man. All he saw was me, was my legs crossed in this other little dress I was wearing. And he was like, all right, she looks pretty. He's like, well, you're pretty. You've got a nice body, whatever. He's like, but can you dance? Well, put me on stage, motherfucker. We'll have a look-see, won't we? Because when I started dancing at American Bush, we were a cabaret show. That's how they build themselves, and that's how they expected their strippers to perform, was full-on Moulin Rouge style theme sets. And you had to be able to dance. Like, I'm still the only stripper that can do the foot cable. I can use a trapeze. I can do all kinds of cool stripper pole stuff, you know, but I can also perform for the gentlemen. So I got on that stage, and Jack just was blown away, because I was an excellent stripper, because I spent so much time with rock stars. Had a lot of good training to watch those guys on stage to know how to perform and project to the crowd. So hired me on the spot. He said, when do you want to start working? He's like, do you want to start tonight? He's like, why don't you come back tonight for the first shift? I said, no. I said, I just got here yesterday. I want a couple days to hang out and party, so how about I start working on Thursday? Because they won't let you start on the weekend night. Most strip clubs won't. So had a couple days, and he was just like, really? And I knew from that moment on, because Jack is no shrinking violet. This guy has been on the U.S. Olympic wrestling team a few times. Plays polo, has been bodyguard. I mean, I've seen this man pick up strippers. We were not even allowed to swear in this club. I've seen him pick up strippers and give them a swirly. Head in the toilet and flush. We had to cut one girl's braids out. So this is the kind of guy that I'm sitting there going, no. And Little Darlings really was that. It was absolutely no swearing. You were always going to be a lady. You could only spread your legs for no more than 3 seconds. No touching. We weren't supposed to grind, but I broke that rule. And he busted me one day. Again, I'm an independent contractor. I can do what I want. And I ended up becoming the #1 moneymaker, and always stayed within the top 5 moneymakers. There was I was a house feature. I started doing more feature shows once I moved down to Las Vegas, doing the magazines, all kinds of stuff. So my life really, I was 24 when I moved to Vegas, just about to turn 25. I spent my 25th birthday there, had a great time. Met my bestie, who's still one of my bestie to this day. I love her so much, my cousin Amy. You guys are going to hear a lot more about her. You've already heard about her with Steve Jones. The night that I met Steve Jones, she was with me. So, Vegas for me, like, really just, like, I was kind of on, I felt like I was on pause for so long. As, you know, in Salt Lake City, I started doing the international competitions as a stripper. I started doing some magazines. I was asked to do a couple feature shows, you know, with Stringfellows and Pure Platinum and the Dollhouse. But once I hit Vegas, that just escalated times 10. I immediately went in and started doing the Condex, the CESs, all the big conventions for Deja Vu, the Club Owners Expos, all this stuff, more magazines. I was traveling with bands. The Hard Rock had just opened up. So me and cousin Amy, that's where we spent every night. We made ourselves a little name there, which is why I have all these glasses. And we made such good friends with the staff, because here's the thing, guys. Anybody can be comped drinks in Las Vegas, but the bartenders will comp the people who tip the most. Oh, you're getting a comp drink? Oh, $2? No. From the first night I walked into the Hard Rock and ordered some Dom Perignon, he said, "This glass is on me." The bartender did, and I threw down a 20. I figured I was going to pay that for the glass anyway. I had a couple $100 I was going to blow that night just hanging out, gambling, whatever, drinking. Might as well give it to the bartender. And that is what helped solidify. Sorry. Okay, to the person who says I need a bang adjustment counter, I'm looking into that. It's true. I do adjust my bangs a lot. So, I immediately made a name among the bartenders, and then at the Hard Rock, which had just barely opened up, and it was the hot spot. Like, the whole 8 years I lived in Vegas, that was a hot spot. I didn't go anywhere else. It was so rare that I ever went to a club. Ever. They knew me so well at the Hard Rock that when Steve Jones was there, he would ask the security guard, "Hey, tell me when she gets there." But the security guards would come and tell me first. "Sex Pistols looking for you." Oh, shit. All right. I'm going to sneak over to the other side. Where's he at? He's on that side. All right. I'm going to go have a drink, and then I'll go find him. Tell him I'm here in about an hour. Or, you know, they gave us the tickets to the Neurotic Outsiders. When the VH1 golf tournament was there and Brian Setzer debuted his swing orchestra for the first time at the VH1 golf tournament, me and my bestie, cousin Amy, we were just walking by the joint doors, and this is when the joint was really tiny. They were like, "Ladies, you need to be in at this party." Next thing you know, talking to little Stevie with Steve Gutenberg's hand up our dresses. So, kind of made an impression, because that's how you actually make an impression in Vegas. There's lots of beautiful women there, but they're all cheap, snobby, whiny princesses. And when you have someone like me and Amy who are guys, girls, we're not cheap. We can drink your asses under the table, and oh, beware, boys. We would walk in, and we owned that place. And that was kind of how my reputation was set in Vegas. So by the time, you know, 8.5 years later, when John died at the Hard Rock, and all those security guards burst into the room, they already knew me. Everybody there already knew me. And when Frank, the head of security, was giving, you know, non-disclosure instructions to the staff, he said, especially about me, because they already knew me. Everybody at that hotel knew I was up there with John. Everybody knew me. We had our own bartenders. We had a couple security guards who not only worked at the strip club with us, but worked there too. And who were always kept an eye on us. We even had our own cocktail waitresses, because who doesn't want $20 a tip every drink? That's how you make an impression in Vegas. Like me and my friends, we became the ladies who lunched. You know, you're going to hear about Crazy Lisa, who we've already heard about. I met her. She became my roommate for about a year. But it was mostly me and cousin Amy, and she would come backstage with me, and there wasn't like a crazy groupie scene there either. So it was easy for me to walk in, not only as a stripper and make my mark, but as a groupie. Las Vegas is also where I started going to college for art history. I mean, my life just came together in so many wonderful ways in a town that I swore up and down I would never live in. Never. And it is my adult hometown. And Vegas is very different for people who live there. Tourists think they know everything that's going on. Oh, no, honey. We all live there. We know the VIP hosts. We're friends with them. We know the security guards. We know the people standing at the door. We know everybody. So we always knew the great parties, and we just always ushered in. Me and my besties, we could get a table at the Four Seasons. Most people don't even know there's a Four Seasons in Vegas. For their brunch on Sunday, and that would include Steven Spielberg over there, George Clooney over there, Keith Richards and Patty. You know, so kind of Vegas was really where, as great as I had it in Salt Lake City, in Seattle, Vegas is just where I didn't know anybody there. I got off a plane, got into a hotel room, met my bestie, hit the ground running. Thank God it worked out for me the way it did, because I didn't even go back to Seattle. My mom and her best friend, like I said in the previous vlog about the second time in Seattle, I didn't even go get my stuff. My mom did, and then she brought it down to Vegas when I got my apartment. Brought all my furniture and the rest of my clothes and stuff, and, well, what was left of my clothes, because people went through it. So, that's my move to Vegas. Bought a ticket, got off a plane, never looked back. 8.5 years later, I left. For just 2 months. Supposed to be there 2 months for the Deja Vu Club. Just like I said, my life happened, and I'm so happy for those years. They were probably some of my most favorite years. As great as the 80s were, as fun as I had in Seattle, like I said, Vegas is where I found my true self. And my adult self, and who I really was. Not just with the rock stars or as a stripper, but where I wanted to go in life and what I wanted to do in art history. And I wanted to do architecture, but I suck at math. But I love art too, so I could study architecture and art and go work in a museum like the Metropolitan or Queen Anne. Yeah. Vegas was a massive, awesome experience for me, and I miss it. I would never go back. I would never go back to Vegas because it's not the same. Even my bestie, who she left for a year, I flew her back for her birthday the next year. She never left either. So that was the other person that got on a plane to Vegas and never went back. So she's gone. She moved last year. Cousin Amy. I mean, so everything that was Vegas to me, the Hard Rock, Cousin Amy, just all the places that we used to go. The Double Down is still there. Four Seasons, but it's not the same Vegas. When I went there, it was still kind of Rat Pack-ish. It was not inundated by, let's pay the Kardashians to party, and Paris Hilton's here, and so is the Inquirer. The Inquirer and all those tabloids did not have offices in Vegas until 2002. Lucky me. The year John died. Yeah. So, it was a really great secret paradise for me. And it's just, like I said, it's not the same. It's just so overblown, and too many punters thinking they're kings of the world, because that's what Vegas does. It makes you think you're king of the world for a few days. Let alone 8.5 years. So, that was me moving to Vegas. Again, just packed a bag, didn't look back. So, never be afraid, you guys. No matter what age you are, don't be afraid. I'm taking off again. As soon as all this shit gets settled, really, really settled in Europe and stuff. So, it's half the fun of life. You never know where your job's going to take you. You never know where love's going to take you. You never know where your friends are going to fly you. Always be open. Keep your heart, mind, and soul open, and the rest will follow. Just like Vegas did for me. So there you go, guys. Thanks for listening to me babble on with one of my Rocky Talkies again. Miss the hard rock. Wish it was still there. God. Still have that pillowcase I wore as a skirt home one night. Couldn't find my skirt. So ladies, if you ever have like a wild night in Vegas and you can't find your bottoms, just cut the end of a pillowcase, tie it on your waist, sashay on home. Own that walk of shame, and I did in Vegas for 8 years. I love my walk of shames. So, all right, guys, thanks again for everybody who's subscribing. For my new subscribers, you guys rock. It's so great to meet all of you guys, old and new. You just so amazing, so awesome. It's definitely the biggest perk of having this book and this vlog. All the cool people. 66% of you. Now go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the bells, hit the likes. Let's spread me. All right, guys. See you next week for some more cocktails and rocktails. Cheers, big ears.